This is Dustin. And when it comes to trees, he's the man to talk to. For decades, people have been planting trees in the city where Dustin lives. Because of its unique climate, today there are species of trees otherwise extinct around the world. They provide a glimpse into the past, and as Dustin sees it, they might also tell the story of a more sustainable future. We sat down with Dustin to talk about the power of an urban forest, and to discuss the idea that if you plant something that lives longer than you do, you're planting a future you might never see, but will still be just a little bit better. Here on Renewable.
So I have some friends who, because I talk about trees so much, they start to roll their eyes a little bit. I have two friends in particular that insist that every time I talk about a tree that I yell, "Tree fact." Tree facts. Edmonton is one of the largest remaining collections of elm trees, American elm trees left in the world, if not the largest. Tree fact. There's a lot of trees that grow here that actually are struggling or have disappeared in their native ranges. Tree fact. The River Valley was the first zone that was actually made in the city of Edmonton. That's not a tree fact. Not a tree fact.
Dustin, as those friends he mentioned could probably tell you, is a fan of trees. And recently, he embarked on a project focused on naming and maintaining heritage trees. To do that, you need to define what exactly a heritage tree is. As Dustin explains it, to figure out whether a tree is a heritage tree, you gotta ask 3 questions. How old is it? Is it unique? And does it tell a story?
So there's a tree just south of Jasper Avenue that is kind of turning into the poster child of heritage trees in the city of Edmonton, and it's because that it hits on those sort of 3 different areas of what seem to make up a heritage tree. So it's just about to hit its 100th birthday. Hopefully there will be a birthday party for it next year. It was planted by a prominent Edmonton family. By their oldest son, who went to Vienna, fell in love with the horse chestnuts, boulevard trees, and actually brought back a few seeds. They planted it in their front yard, just off of Jasper Avenue. And despite all of the odds, the tree is still there. So it's nestled in a back alley amongst skyscrapers.
But at what cost?
But it's costing the owners roughly $600 a month, because that's the value of the parking, of literally the square footage that the tree takes up.
So some cost. For Dustin, maintaining an urban forest and a connection to those trees goes beyond the stories they tell and even the cost of parking. Our urban canopy and agriculture captures 100,000 tons of greenhouse gas each year. It absorbs pollutants and keeps our air cool. Trees have an unseen but undeniable impact on the comfort and livability of a city.
It does sequester carbon, it does pull carbon out of the atmosphere, but the more immediate effects are that those trees, like all living things, are mostly water, so they're going to be holding on to excess water, which is going to reduce the runoff and prevent flooding downstream. But because it's holding on to water, it actually reduces drought at the same time. That water has to go somewhere, so it transpires through the leaves, it changes the humidity, it changes the environment around those trees. And it also mitigates extreme weather, and so you can actually mitigate many of the challenges of climate change. It's not a solution for climate change, but you can mitigate many of those challenges by having a healthy urban forest.
A healthy urban forest, a healthy urban environment. We ended our conversation with Dustin by asking him to paint us a picture of that city, the one that doesn't quite exist yet, but could. where you don't need to escape the city to find nature, where, like sidewalks and storefronts and paths and roads, nature is woven throughout the city.
If we were to say, what does sort of a nature-loving city look like? I actually think you can come up with some potential futures that are pretty exciting and would be pretty magical places to live. And I think that hopefully doing a research project around the urban forest and around heritage trees in particular can shine a little bit of light on not only what we've built and what we have, but also on the future that we could create.